After I'd made a name on radio, one of the biggest laughs that I got was when I walked out onto the stage in a variety theatre. So many people said to me, "We didn't think you was like that. We thought you was about this high. And you walk out onto the stage and you're 6 foot tall and 16 stone. And it's very funny." I was playing the Palace. I was doing these broadcasts and I was playing the Palace Theatre Manchester. And I'd got a boil inside my nose and it was terribly painful. And I walked on the stage one night and in the middle of my act it was throbbing. I looked at the audience and I said, "To look at me, you wouldn't think I was in pain, would you?" And there was a big laugh. I said, "I don't feel well." Another big laugh. "I feel poorly." Another big laugh. "I feel proper poorly." Another big laugh. And all this was getting very big laughs. And I came off the stage and naturally I thought, well, that's a very good theme. And so that became a catchphrase.
Confidentially, I like to talk confidentially with folks like you. Confidentially, I'll tell you this. Once upon a time in a lonely little loom, there lived a sweet little silkworm called Sylvia. She was a spinster, because she spent all her time spinning silk stockings. In fact, it was her stock in trade. Now, one day, Sylvia started a smart assistant silkworm called Sylvester, who was a very good dancer, especially the cotton reel. Now, Sylvester was an artificial silkworm and a very natty, nimble little fellow at knitting nylons. Sylvia was a sprightly little spinster and a pretty, silky little silkworm. In fact, she was well knit and fully fashioned, especially from a worm's eye view. It wasn't long, however, before Sylvester got ideas about her which were wild, woolly, and a little wolfy. His ideas affected his spinning, and it wasn't long before he started making slips. Now, this didn't suit Sylvia. Because he tried to pull the wool over her eyes, you see. And he shot her a smooth line about worshipping the silk she sat in. The line was pretty threadbare, and Sylvia soon cottoned on to him. "You're a slothful, silly, soppy, sentimental silkworm," said Sylvia, and she told him to wind up and go. But Sylvester could stand it no longer, and that night in the gloom of the loom, he threaded his way towards her, and he squeezed Sylvia so hard she dropped a stitch. And before Sylvester could really get weaving, she gave him such a slap and sent him spinning so fast he leapt off his loom and busted his bobbin. Now, the moral to my story is, be sure when you're accepting nylons and just don't give a darn, that some little worm hasn't shot you a line and maybe spun you a yarn. You know, to look at me, you wouldn't think that I was lonely, would you? You wouldn't think that nobody loved me. But it's true. It's true. You would say, to look at me, you would say, there is someone that should have lots of love, oodles of cuddle, a bottle of medicine and some fresh air. I'm not getting anything. Penelope's left me. She said to me last week, "How much money have you got in your money box?" "I'm going to Monte Carlo." I said, "Couldn't I come? I'd like to see the fast cars." She says, "You can go to Brighton next year with the old crocs." Now then, how much money have you got? I says, £15, 4 and threepence halfpenny, 2 buttons, and the end of your nail file. I don't know how that got there. She says, "That's just enough. You can keep the buttons." I says, "But you can't do that, Petal. I've been saving that up for my old age." She says, "You're too optimistic." how long do you think you're going to live anyway? I said, I hope to reach 70. She says, if you do, I shall lose money. I shall have paid out more for you on the health scheme than what I'm getting back on the insurance policy. I said, that isn't very kind. I haven't been to the doctor for 3 days. She says, well, it's about time you went. The fowl were doing very well on those pills that you had for your constitution. Anyway, she says, I'm going to Monte Carlo for the rally, and you can go to Bath for the salts, if you like. I said, what about if the rent man calls? She says, well, if I haven't arrived before he gets here, tell him to wait and come back when I've gone. And so she packed her things and left, just like that. She didn't even wait and say goodbye to our lodger, Cedric. He was very cut up about this, but she left him a note to tell him he was in charge. I think it went to his head. It didn't matter what I did. He kept saying, Penelope wouldn't like that. If I didn't dry the crocks properly, it was, do them again. Penelope wouldn't like that. It was awful. It made me feel poorly. I was proper poorly. I got the sack at work through it. I was so busy working when I came home at night, I overslept. The foreman said to me, if you come in late again, you'll have to go. So I bought myself an alarm clock. I set it for 6 o'clock. I was at work at 7:30 instead of 8. The foreman came up to me. I said, I'm early today, ain't I? He says, yes, where were you yesterday? You know, that's a funny thing as well. Do you know, I'm the only one at our works that ever got the sack and the union didn't come out on strike for. And the shop steward, he told me not to worry, though. He said I could have my job back as soon as the sick club built the funds up again. But it was worse at home. I couldn't put my head back on the chairs because Penelope wouldn't like that. I couldn't have 2 bars going on the electric fire because Penelope wouldn't like that. In fact, I couldn't have 1 bar going because Penelope wouldn't like that. Oh, it drove me. Then one day, Cedric said to me, you can sit in the easy chair tonight. Here's your slippers. I've saved this cigar for you. And if you drop your ash on the carpet, it doesn't matter. I bought a bottle of beer for you, and let's take it from here on the wireless tonight so you can enjoy yourself. I said, what are you going to do? He says, well, as a matter of fact, Mr. Smith down the road has asked me to take his wife to the pictures tonight, and I don't like to let him down because he's my foreman at work. I says, well, thank you for the beer, and thank you very much for the slippers, and thank you for the cigars, but I said, I'm afraid you can't take Mrs. Smith out tonight. He says, why not? I said, because Penelope wouldn't like that. And now my request song this week is We All Have a Song in Our Hearts. We all have a song in our hearts, a song to remind us of someone. It may be the strain of an old love refrain that brings back sweet memories of walks down the lane. It may be an old lullaby or songs bluebirds sing as they fly, but through all the long years, the laughter and tears, we all have a song in our hearts. We all have a song in our hearts, a song to remind us of someone. It may be the strain of an old love refrain that brings back sweet memories of walks down the lane. It may be an old lullaby or songs bluebirds sing as they fly, but through all the long years, the laughter and tears, we all have a song in our hearts. confidentially. I like to talk confidentially with folks like you confidentially. I'll tell you this, I wouldn't if it wasn't so, but now I think you ought to know, but keep it dark, because you'll see that it's very confidentially. I really shouldn't tell you, but you've been so very good. I wouldn't dream of saying if I didn't think I could. But time is getting shorter, so I really think I should. Confidentially, that's all for now. So cheerio and good luck.